Hello, and welcome to episode 13. Are we 13, Curtis? Am I correct in saying that?
I think we're number 13.
Episode 13 of the Brunch Party Podcast. Once again, we have brought a very special guest, one of our close and personal friends. I'm going to introduce him first this week. I don't really know how to do this like 3-person introduction thing.
Yeah, you always
So
mess
we'll
it
just go
up.
with the... Yeah, well, it's fine. You know, I don't mess it up because we don't have a system down yet, Curtis.
I don't know who you are, so...
Oh. Okay, I'll introduce myself first then. Fine, whatever. I'm Mark. I'm Mark of the Brunch Party. And as always, we have...
I am Curtis, CK Money, Kohler, from the Brunch Party as well.
CK Money.
CK
We'll
Money.
get to that in a second.
All
We'll
right.
get to that in a second. Our very, very special guest this week is none other than Mr. Brian Gendo.
How are you doing, gentlemen? It's a pleasure to be on here on this luckiest of lucky episode numbers.
It's the
That's very
GendoDragon.
true.
I'm so excited.
It is the GendoDragon. This is also a very, I suppose, lucky for some, unlucky for others. Hopefully, it will go well for us. I have no doubt in my mind that it will.
I have high hopes. Lots of high hopes.
It's a lucky number in Sweden, right? 13's a lucky number in Sweden.
Is that why Matt Sundin had
Or number 13?
as his
Yeah, I'm
number?
pretty sure.
Is that the reason?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you know who Matt Sundin is, Brian?
I would assume a hockey player.
Nailed it.
You would be correct. Well, an all-time great of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
All-time great.
Am
Sweden.
Am I fair? And
Swedish
Sweden,
great
yeah,
as
there you
well.
go.
Very
I
nice.
can't
Swedish
say I'm much
listeners-
of this.
Our Swedish listeners are probably like, yes, fucking Sundin. I love that
Actually,
guy.
yeah.
It's like, wow,
Yeah.
who would have expected a Sundin call out on this podcast?
Yeah, no kidding.
Any Leafs fans would. Let me tell you what. Josh is going to be all over
Josh
that.
knows what up.
Actually, Josh might not know what up. He might not be a Leafs fan for that long. Who knows? So how you doing, Brian? Did I ask you that already? I have no idea. I'm sort of in shambles this episode. I won't lie. I've had a long day.
That's okay. I had a long day myself. But other than that, I'm doing very well. Thank you very much.
That's fantastic to hear.
I'm
always happy
not going to
you're
lie.
happy.
I am not going to lie. I've been very hype about the whole thought process about doing this little podcast because I know you guys have been very excited about this. I've been very excited about this. I can't wait till we actually get into it.
I'm pumped.
You're putting high high hopes into this, but Brian, I'm happy about that.
Brian,
Let's see if we'll do better than Adam's podcast.
Brian, where do we know you from, Brian? For the people who don't know our little connection we have, our little brotherhood we have, how do we know you?
Well, Mark and Curtis originally knew me through Twitch, watching football manager streams. I popped in one of their streams one day thanks to the previously mentioned Dr. Benji FM. He pretty much tweeted out their stream. I thought, hey, it's a North American pairing that are actually streaming FM. You don't really get a lot of those. You don't get a lot of North American streamers in the first place. So I thought it was very interesting that you're doing this. And I like how you guys play off of each other. I like the comedy bits sometimes. And always...
That's only sometimes.
I thought you were really down to earth and really awesome people. So that's why I stuck around.
Wow, I like this even more than Adam's already. You're so nice to us.
Yeah.
Adam never gave us that much praise. My God.
I don't know where the praise is coming from.
I specifically remember a time where I was like, oh, this is Brian. Where me and Curtis were at the Toronto FC Chicago Fire game. And you tweeted us like 5 times that day about that game.
That is correct. This was like a couple of weeks after I stopped by your streams, and I was like, oh yeah, it's going to be 3-0 Chicago Fire because I have no faith in the Chicago Fire because they're such a poor football soccer club.
But the worst part about that too is about a week later I was in one of Ben's streams and he was doing that thing where he's like, hey, where's everyone from? Or no, he was talking about Brian. He's like, oh, Brian's my favorite North American. And I just messaged him. I was like, where are you from? He's like, I'm from Chicago. You know that. I was like, oh, I know who you are. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I just I always got you and someone else mixed up.
It brought the memories back.
It was probably Bad Dragon. It was you and Bad Dragon. I got mixed up all the time. So when you said you were from he said you were from North America. I was like, I thought he was from Australia. And then it like all clicked together. I was like, I know exactly who this person is. I go to their like, I felt like such a dumb. I was so embarrassed by that.
My problem with like always getting you mixed up, Brian. I'm saying that Chicago game was the first one I was like, oh yeah, is because your Twitch name and Twitter name are different.
That is correct. My Twitch name is Brian_Gendo, and my Twitter name is Brian_Gendo. My Twitch name is RLKDragon, and the whole reason behind that is RLKDragon was my first ever username online, and that was a combination of two older playground names. Green Dragon, and this is going to be really stupid because I was 13 and dumb at the time. I was a big Chris Benoit fan. I know, really controversial nowadays, but back in the day, he was a big deal. So, so you know how he was called the Rabid Wolverine? That was his nickname.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
And because I was scrappy during basketball and baseball, I called myself the Rabid Little Kid. So that's how RLK came to be.
That's amazing.
That's so
that.
Awesome. I love that so much.
That's amazing.
Oh my god, that's fantastic.
It goes even further too, because your YouTube channel is Gendo FM, so it's a third different username that you use online, Brian.
But like that, I remember always being like, oh, it. Like, I would see you come into Twitch, and then you would tweet us, and Curtis would be like, oh, that's RLKDragon. I was like, fuck, I know that. Damn it. I gotta remember this. Now
you know me by 3 different names, and we interchange it. Yep. You're like, okay, it's Brian, Gendo, and RLKDragon. It's the same deal, same person.
FM8 was when it all came together, right? Yeah. FM8, it was like we finally got to talk, on a fairly regular basis. We were having Skype calls once a week at that point. And after that, there was no more confusion on who Brian was.
No, absolutely.
It's like, this is the one Brian to rule them all.
Well. And then Soccer with Brian came into the whole mix.
Oh, and then there's Soccer with Brian.
Yeah. And then we started getting confused once again.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole real fake Soccer cookie Brian fucking, I don't know. It's really throwing me for a loop. It really has, I won't lie.
Well, you're welcome. That's all I can say is you're welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. I appreciate that. I really do.
At least there's only like 2 Brians and not like 90 million like there is Callums.
Oh god,
there's too many Callums.
I cannot believe that Callum is actually a popular name, or not popular, but very common, I should say. Because I only know of the one Callum.
We probably follow 17 Callums on Twitter. Probably. We follow like 220 people, and like 17 of them are all Callums.
It's unreal, man.
I guess it's more common than I thought.
There's like 4 of them that come to our streams on a regular basis. Well, one not so much anymore. Callum, I'm looking at you. They don't know which one I'm talking about. That's the thing.
Oh, he knows.
That's the thing.
Oh, he knows.
He absolutely does. Damn Luton supporters.
Ooh. That's a direct call out.
Yeah, it is.
No, but it's interesting. Brian, you are genuinely one of my favorite streamers of FM right now. I just love the mix between like frustration and comedy, and how into the game you get, and how, I don't know, you're almost like a radio DJ or a talk show host at the same time. You have this like perfect mixing pot of everything you would want from a streamer. And it's my favorite thing. Every Friday night, me and Adam go on Discord and we watch your streams, and we're just like commentating on it. It's phenomenal, man.
I'm really disappointed because the Friday nights when they have their conversation with whoever is like my early night. I have to be in bed like very early to get up from work the next morning. So I can like never stop by your Friday streams, and I'm always pretty disappointed about it.
And all I can say is that if you check me out on the Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, you never know what you're going to expect. It could be it could be the DJ, it could be the comedy, it could be the severe frustration if I'm going off of a really bad run, which I had a bad run last weekend, and man, I gotta tell you, this this British Steel Challenge is definitely starting to grate on me, but I gotta keep going on with it. I feel like I have to go back. I have to finish what I started. You know, I restart this already, and I feel like, yes, I know it's tough, but that's what people want to see. And I gotta stick through it, through thick and thin, through the good times and the bad times. Gotta make light of the situation, as well as keep the situation light as well. If I'm down, I gotta be a little funny. I gotta keep it all lighthearted.
It's true.
I want to go on record and say that the second I heard you were doing that challenge, I believe I called you a dumbass and said you're crazy. So if it does go wrong for you, I'm not gonna say I told you so, but I 100% told you so.
Well, thank you very much for your backing.
No problem. I'll still be there. I'll still be there for the ride down. But yeah, it's.
I don't envy you, Brian, but goddamn, do I respect you. Let me tell you that much.
What? That I take up a challenge that could possibly take 50 seasons or more.
Yeah,
and
I think you'll be playing FM16 for the next 4 iterations of this game.
Yay!
I don't think you're ever gonna get past this.
Well,
that was the thing.
We'll ride it out till FM17, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, well, when FM14 or sorry, when FM15 was wrapping up and everyone got on the hype of playing the beta on Twitch, you were, I think, one of the last guys to stream 15. Yeah. You were like 2 weeks in, you were still finishing up whatever save you had there with 15.
What was that save?
The save I had was the FC Vaduz save out in
Switzerland.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And I remember that. I was basically winding that down all the way up until the actual full release of 16 because I didn't want to start didn't want to start save in beta. That's why I did on my YouTube channel. I did a beta save with 16 there, but I wanted to ride out 15 on the stream until the full release of 16 came out.
Oh, yeah, I remember that video save very well, actually. That was like the first time I was really, really showing up to your streams a lot, and I freaking loved it. I had done a Basel save last year, and it's nothing really like the video save, but I really enjoyed my time managing in Switzerland. Nice chocolate and such. And I was like, oh, man.
And the two legends legends that we had come out of that. We had the Italian Messi, Federico Bonazzoli, and then of course the head case himself, El Hadji Diouf. who El Hadji Diouf single-handedly saved me a match, coming back from 3-0 down at halftime to get the match tire with like 2 minutes into stoppage time. It ended up at 3-3. So I have to thank El Hadji Diouf and his craziness for saving me in a match.
Who would have thought? No, I bet nobody.
No, of course not.
Really, truly nobody.
Of course not.
So I don't want to get into like soccer just yet. But this has been sort of, me and Chris have been talking about Everton a lot in the last few days, and if people didn't know, you're an Everton fan and also a Chicago Fire fan. I'm correct in saying that, right?
That is correct. Chicago Fire, first and foremost, because I grew up in Chicago, Chicago being my hometown, and I am an Everton supporter because when I first started getting into the sport of football, this was early 2010, and I didn't really have a team to latch onto in the Premier League, and I saw that Tim Howard and Landon Donovan, the two best U.S. players at the time, were playing at Everton. So I thought, if the two best U.S. players are playing here, I guess this is a team that I should be following. So I decided to give them a look, and lo and behold, that's pretty much where it all started. So went through the World Cup, 2010 World Cup, and then just continued on supporting Everton ever since.
And then it's all gone downhill from there for Everton, hasn't it?
Oh man, I honestly think that them getting into the Europa League 2 seasons ago is what started their downfall.
Yep. That's what everyone thinks, Brian. Don't worry. That is what everyone thinks.
Many a times.
Yeah. I was the main so Romelu Lukaku has played out of his mind this year. Not so much in the last couple weeks or so, but I mean, he has 16 goals, right? In the league this year.
16, 17,
Second most. Yeah, I guess I wasn't counting this weekend. Second most to Jamie Vardy. I think did Kane score this weekend, Curtis?
No. Rose and Chadley scored this weekend.
Yeah, that Danny Rose goal, goddamn. No, but so second to Jamie Vardy, I suppose. Me and Chris were talking about this in the car yesterday. Do you think that Everton will be able to, are going to be keeping Romelu Lukaku for another year at least?
With the way that Lukaku is playing and the thought process of the current chairman, in fact, the Everton being in current flux between chairmen, they're currently being bought out by...
That was big news, yeah.
Yeah, they're currently being bought out by some Saudi investors. The thought process behind that is the Saudi investors will pump money into the club, so they probably don't need to sell off their players. But since Lukaku is a top quality player, Everton aren't really going anywhere right now, and I'm sure he wants to get back into the Champions League, start playing in European football once again. There will be the big teams calling for him. Man City, Chelsea, Manchester United, Arsenal, once again, will call for him. And I honestly don't think...
I'll take him back. I really will.
I honestly do not think that Everton will keep him past next season.
next season.
I think he will stay on Everton for one more season, but then after that, if Everton are still languishing around mid-table, that he's going to want to go.
10th place, yeah, fair. And I would agree with that. I was really thinking about it because, like, again, I saw he scored 17 goals so far this year. I'm just like, that is fantastic. Like, he's a fantastic player on a team right now who, like, can't produce anything even with a striker like that.
He is their only goal scorer.
Seem to me. He is literally exactly. He is literally their only goal scorer. We were talking. It was like it doesn't seem to me like he's a guy that will. I mean, as long as he's the number one and he's playing, he'll be happy, right? Like, I mean, that's what happened at Chelsea. That's why he left Chelsea. It's just he couldn't get the playing time. So I don't see him like really forcing a move if there's no interest for him. I don't see him coming this summer and be like, I mean, no bids have been made or anything, but I'm just like, you guys are gonna sell me or else. I don't really see of him as a player like that. I mean, some people could argue after his Chelsea stint, but I don't really blame the guy for that.
The worst possible result is Lukaku going to China. That would be the worst possible result.
No, God, that would be awful.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that as an option. You know, the team that popped into my head for him was PSG. I don't know why. It just like he seems like the guy that PSG would love to fill Ibra's role once Ibra's done doing what he's doing.
Isn't Cavani already has been frustrated though about his playing time?
Yes, he has, and now that Lavezzi is gone, it kind of distinguishes Cavani as the solid number two. He's not fighting Lavezzi for that number two spot. He's firmly behind Ibra. Once Ibra leaves, Cavani is going to push up into that number one role, unless, like you said, they go after a Lukaku, someone like Lukaku.
Yeah. I mean, because he could start at almost every team in the world right now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not a Barcelona, maybe not a Real Madrid, but almost any other team.
Pretty much every team that's not named Barca, Real, Bayern, Dortmund.
I mean, the only thing I see about
start at Dortmund for sure. I can see making
toss Alba out on the wing. I suppose.
mean, like Alba's been preferred on the wing. He just moved to striker now that Ramos and Immobile left and Ramos' form declined. And I mean, ever since they brought Alba in as a striker, they've always looked for someone else to play at striker.
So you don't know if they're going to go with that two striker front or just go with like Lukaku type out and out striker and then put Aubameyang on the wing again.
Yeah, well, Aubameyang is so explosive from the wing, and so is Royce, and it creates a width to that Dortmund team instead of having McKieran on the wing, right? So because McKieran is more suited in the middle.
Is he though? I mean, he can absolutely play, but I mean, I seem to recall him playing very, very, very well up on the wing this year.
I haven't watched enough Dortmund to give like this is what I like. This is my own opinion. I haven't watched enough Dortmund to be like this is the reality of things. But my one good friend is a Dortmund supporter, and that's the way he feels strongly about things. So strikers where they'd like to strengthen and see McKieran play in the center and Aubameyang on the right. Okay.
Yeah, I've like read a couple things or whatever that people are really impressed with him out on the wing. But I mean, who could complain about a front three of Royce, Lukaku, and Aubameyang, right?
Yeah. Oh God, dude.
Nobody. That'd be tough to defend against. No, but I didn't want to delve too deep into the soccer stuff just yet. I wanted to.
Well, this is all because you asked me that I'm a supporter of Everton. That's how we went on this segue.
Yeah. No. I know. I just wanted to get your opinion on this Lukaku thing because I've been thinking about it a lot recently. But I do want to ask more about you, Brian. Sure. I want to know about you. Same to the people. Might get back to the football a little later, but I do want to see how you felt about Lukaku because I am a huge Lukaku fan. I think that man is a fantastic footballer.
He is a curious case at this point in time. He's a very curious case that he is a great player on a mediocre team.
Before we move away from football,
of course.
Just for in case we don't get back to it, we should announce that Brian, as we announced last week and on the streams, and we've been kind of hyping up. But Brian is one of the big guests we're having on the MLS Live podcast we're doing, which I am fucking so excited for. I'm hyped.
It's getting real close.
Definitely another thing that I am hyped up for. As soon as you guys announce it, it's like, yes, I cannot wait to do this as well.
It's just gonna be such a cool, just chill out talk show, and it's something we haven't tried yet on Twitch, but it's it almost suits us perfectly. And I hope that everyone listening gets a chance to tune in at some point. And we'll keep making announcements all week on Twitter and on Twitch. And I'm very, 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 very excited to do it. So
yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. And me and Chris have a couple surprises that you're not even gonna know just yet, Brian, and these people aren't gonna know. So look forward to that. We'll tell you after.
I'm definitely a big fan of surprises.
Yeah, it's we had a couple ideas we were talking about the other night, and we think it's gonna be quite good. But Brian, so before you were talking about DJ Brian, right? That's one of your things you go to on stream. That's sort of your thing, I suppose. Well, not your thing per se, but
what did I get in really close?
You enjoy?
Did I get in really close to the mic and say, "Welcome to Brian Gendo Podcast and Brian Gendo Streams"?
There you go.
Please stick around for the next 3 hours, and you will watch some Prime FM content.
Have you ever done a radio show or anything, or ever thought about doing a radio show?
Surprisingly,
or like ads or anything.
Okay, first part of that question, surprisingly, no, I've never done anything radio related, but I have heard people say all the time that I should probably get into it.
You have the perfect recording voice.
Yeah, you really do. It's fantastic.
And I definitely have a face for radio too, so that makes up all the difference.
Oh, there you go.
I love that. Don't we all though?
Curtis will make a nice thumbnail. He'll make you look real pretty.
I'll make you look pretty.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, I really do like your Twitter profile.
Just add a lot of bloom and a lot of blush, and you can make me pretty.
Do you remember? I don't know who it was, and I feel like maybe it's someone who's stuck around longer. But do you guys remember during FMA, the guy who kept photoshopping all the things we were doing, and they photoshopped Brian as the manager on the cover of Football Manager?
Fun fact. That is officially my lock screen for my phone. It is still my lock screen for my phone.
Oh my god, yes.
That's amazing, yeah.
Yes. I love that.
He drew me on the couch with the flag behind me,
and I honestly hate that I don't remember his name. I'm sure if I go back through all my list of followers because he follows me on Twitch. If I go back through my list of followers, his name will pop up. His name will pop out. Mm-hmm. I'm sure.
That was a crazy night, so it's hard to it's hard to remember everyone who's around being insane.
Yeah, and definitely a big shout out to the guy who created that. It was awesome. It gave me a good laugh at the time, and I kind of just rolled with it. So thank you very much.
You know, one thing that always impresses me about the stuff I'm going back to Twitch again because that's kind of the space I'm most active in out of anything. But you stream obviously because you work a full-time job. You stream at sort of a tough time. You stream at 9:30 Central on weekends. And yet you still pump out like 15 to 20 people, and there's always new people popping into every one of your streams. And I find that so fucking impressive because that's when we tried to start by streaming around the same time, and we could barely get a single person out there. And we really grew when we moved.
I honestly don't know how it happens too. Maybe it's just word of mouth because you're right. It's definitely the graveyard shift in terms of, streaming Football Manager because it would be 2:00 in the morning over in England, the rest of Europe. Mm-hmm. So I guess it's just people that are, working late and, want to pop on Twitch, or they're in the middle of their work shift and want to just grab a stream to watch, and they find somebody streaming FM that's actually on there, and they just pop in for a little bit, watch it, like it. If they follow it, that's great. They're not obliged to, of course, but it's nice that I am pulling in a steady stream of 15-20 people during a dead period, literally a dead period in terms of Football Manager streaming and streaming in general.
Well, it's one of those things where I feel like we all kind of there's a lot of us channels that sit in sort of what I consider the middle part of the streaming kind of community with FM, where the middle channels are the guys who hit between like 10 and 20 on a regular basis, 10 and 20 viewers on a regular basis, and to do that at the time you do it, to me, is just like, that's unreal, because we struggle to do it when it's 8:00 in the UK and everyone's winding down and getting on Twitch. So one of those things.
It's not really impressive because we've tried those streams in the past, and it's not like we're like streaming so there's like, we want like 20 people in here and blah blah blah, but like it can be really tough when we stream like 3 times at 8 or 9 o'clock and there's like 4 people that come in and like 3 of them chat, 2 of them chat, 1 of them chats. It's like it's hard to motivate yourself to keep on doing it that late when there's not enough interaction, right? And it's really like it's really really good that like every stream you have that consistent viewership no matter what time it is.
Now, are you talking about when you stream? It's the 8-9 UK time, right?
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's because there are several other FM streamers to go out there, because sometimes Jack streams at that time, sometimes Ben does.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that
Fox,
can be tough.
Foxy. The Greek way is definitely one that pulls in a lot of other streamers, and some of them definitely not Greek. They just pop in and see how he does. So I
found that really cool.
I think the reason why you don't pull in as much is because you're competing with all the other streamers that are centrally based in the UK, whereas it's just me and probably one or maybe two other FM streamers. So I'm the only guy. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty much the only game in town at that time.
Yeah. Yeah, oh, don't get me wrong. We pull in like better numbers than we always expect we would. Again, we pull in the 10 to 20 range basically every time we go live, which is awesome to me. I never thought we'd hit that point, and I'm perfectly content with it. It's just, again, like I said before, it just impresses me that you have the ability to do it at the time you do, and it's awesome. It makes me happy. I'm sad I can't make more of your streams, because usually either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, one of those 3 days, I usually try to have some people over or go out. So. And this weekend was a whole clusterfuck, so I didn't really get in any of them, I don't think, this weekend.
No worries. I guess...
Yeah, sorry,
I was going to say, I guess it's because I have a small, loyal a contingent that actually watches my streams here now, and then I have a couple of people that just pop in from random times, and I think that's how I'm able to, get that consistent, 10 plus viewership at times, because I have a nice, small, loyal contingent, and you guys would be included in that as well, because you make up most of my streams anyway. And then I just have some randoms come in from Europe, from North America, just to pop in.
Yeah, I do the exact same thing with you that I do with Adam, because I feel like we're in this we have this kind of mini brotherhood after FMA, where I literally have I literally have phone notifications set for when you guys tweet. So when you guys go live, I always try to make sure I retweet as fast as possible, or send a tweet out letting people, and you and Adam both do it to us all the time, and I try to reciprocate that all the time. I feel like we got this little mini unspoken brotherhood with that. And
hey guys, he's streaming, get in here. Retweet.
Yep. Retweet. Yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah. Even soccer with Brian now, like we always talk about on stream or whatever. That dude will make any tweet in like immediately within like 12 seconds. It's just like, oh, soccer with Brian, retweet your tweet. It's like, oh,
he's so fast on those shares, man. He's so fast on those shares. It's unbelievable.
It's always really impressive.
How long have you been streaming for, Brian?
FM specifically, or just in general?
Do both.
In general. Give us a nice little overview of your Twitch history.
Okay. I've originally found Twitch like mid 2012, just after I graduated college, and I was in between obviously college and looking for a job, and I thought for a time, okay, I have this backlog of Steam library games, I might as well go on here and stream what I like. And back in the day, I'm saying 3 years ago, back in the day, I used to stream Grand Theft Auto 3. I used to stream Doom, the Doom trilogy, and I was big into the classical arcade gaming scene. So you'd see me streaming Donkey Kong, Pac-Man, Frogger, Pole Position. I'm a big fan of racing games. So Pole Position was definitely one of the old arcade games. I still have Forza 4 and Forza Horizon downstairs with my Xbox. But once I started, moving away from streaming classical games, it started becoming more sporadic. I went towards YouTube, and that's how I started getting into Football Manager. The Football Manager love was always there, but I just never thought about streaming it. The first thought...
it took us 2 years to do it.
First thought for Football Manager was to immediately get into YouTube and start putting out videos almost daily. It wasn't until the middle of 2015 that I decided to go and add the streaming of Football Manager alongside the production of the YouTube videos, and that's how I slowly started getting up into the FM streaming scene. It originally started with just a couple of people, and then I was noticed by Foxy. Foxy would sometimes retweet out my streams, and that's how I got noticed by Ben, and then it just took off from there.
Foxy's one of those guys who obviously we've mentioned how good Ben is with the smaller channels and stuff like that. And it was like, he makes the effort with the smaller channels. But Foxy's one of those guys who's almost underappreciated in that, where like I feel like he does his best to get into everyone's FM streams, and like almost immediately when we started streaming, Foxy was popping by on a fairly regular basis to check in on us and throwing tweets out for us and all that stuff. He kind of doesn't get as much credit as he deserves for that. And I mean, there's a lot of guys who do it, but Foxy's one of those guys who really shows a lot of support to the smaller channels when they're starting up, and doesn't.
Yeah, for sure.
He made Adam's overlay and stuff like that.
That was crazy when I heard that.
Streaming.
Yeah, and for that, Foxy does get a lot of props. He does do a lot of things within the amorphous blob that is the FM community right now. And yeah, he definitely will try to help out the younger people, and especially with his videos he has right now. I mean, I did not know a damn thing about Prozone until he put out several videos explaining how to read out all the graphs and how to read out all the numbers. For that, I'm very thankful with it. I'm very thankful of him for helping us with that.
I still barely know how it works. But Jesus, did that help me. So how many iterations of Football Manager have you played before 2016?
The first Football Manager I got into I was originally going to start with FM 10, but I was told, and this was around September, I was told on a forum to wait until the game rolls out, the new game rolls out in November. So my official first FM game was FM 11.
FM 11.
Yes.
And then it took you till FM 14 to start YouTube, or 15?
FM 15, because I started 15? My YouTube channel of Gendo FM in January of 2015. So it was 2 months into the game cycle of FM 15.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. What really got you to start making Football Manager YouTubers? YouTube videos. Sorry,
I understood the question. Don't worry. It actually was.
sorry.
It actually was the tandem of Jack and Ben, and actually no. It was a trio. It was Jack, Ben, and Mick Mar Jr. Watching their videos, and Jack and Ben were big streamers at the time too, so I would pop into their streams and just get a feel for how they would go about playing the game, how they'd interact with the community, and then I'd start watching their videos, watching the FM League back in its first iteration, and then just take a look at all the previous series that Jack did, that Ben did, like the Swindon lot was the first big series that I watched, and that's what got me into the thought process of, hey, if he's doing these, I could have an attempt at these as well. And
it's funny.
The first, but sorry, before I cut you off, final push over the hurdle was, I was tweeting Mick Mar right around New Year's Day and said, I'm starting up an idea. I want to run a YouTube channel to do the Pentagon Challenge. Do you have any words of wisdom? Do you have any thoughts on what I should do to get this started? He answered me back. He was very concise. He was very, very down to earth, very knowledgeable. And I just took those tweets and ran with it. And that's how I started my YouTube channel.
Did he say don't do the Pentagon Challenge? It's too damn hard.
He did not. I'm sure.
That's what I would have told you.
I'm sure if I talked to Jack about that, he would probably tell me that exact words, like don't do it. But
it's funny though, because we basically almost had the same path to start.
Our timeline is, except for you started playing Football Manager a little earlier than us, but like our timeline is almost exactly the same. I bet I guess we would have created our Twitch channel just a little bit after you started doing your YouTube channel. But it's like, I mean, thinking back at how many of Ben and Jack's streams I was in late 2014 and early 2015 and stuff, I was like, we probably would have we may have even interacted with each other on Twitch before we even met each other, and now we're sitting here doing this podcast together.
Yeah, we may have crossed paths.
Very, very cool.
We may have crossed paths somewhere down the road, but we just obviously didn't know who we were at the time, and then it just came to a head back in August, September with just one retweet out, and that's where I found you guys. That's where I met up with Adam Pita as well, and that's how we all came to be. How we formed this North American coalition.
I'm gonna have to double check.
There you go. I
I love it. I'm gonna have to double check, but I think our 1 year might be March 6th, which is funny because March 6th is the day we're doing that MLS podcast.
That would be really, really interesting.
That is some perfect timing right there.
Yeah, that would be crazy. Wow.
It's definitely close to that, right, Mark?
I think it might be a little bit later than that, but yeah, no, it's in March. It's early March. I know that. That would be crazy though. That would be really, really impressive.
It's insane.
Even if it isn't, just say it is.
Just say,
who can find out?
Nobody
Right?
fact check us on that.
Yeah, I mean, someone could look at our very first tweet, but whatever, it's fine. We have a bunch of those, so nobody's gonna look through all of them. Am I right?
God, I tried to go back to the day when the first day Ben found us, and he tweeted out, "This is the best time I've ever had watching someone play FM" or something like that. I want to grab that tweet and use it against him at some point. I didn't have the patience to go through all those tweets.
Just paste it on your wall. Just blow it up. Put it on a shirt. Make a cake out of it. So just Ben, this is what you've become. You've become a motivational quote.
Tweet for. Oh, absolutely it would. Our pinned tweet for a while was one down stream. He came on and we did a draft against him, and we kicked his ass. we just absolutely annihilated him, and he.
That seems to be what you do. That seems to be what you do. Is kick ass during drafts.
Me and Curtis are terrible football managers, but we will kick ass in a draft. Let me tell you what.
We can draft for days.
Let me tell you what.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah, we will draft for days. It's the two-person going at it, like Curtis has his whiteboard there. He's writing names down. I'm like, okay, that could work, but boom, and he's like, yeah, but what about this? And we're knocking ideas back,
I'm really good at the like finding bargains and finding like the players that fit perfectly in the roles that I know Mark will want to use it tactically, and that it works out really well. The 1-2 punch, but you're the. This is funny because Brian's also the first person we ever had an appreciation stream for was because he beat Adam.
Yeah,
the whole FM AIDS, and everybody in chat was just going nuts over it too. Because here I am, I did not get a single win against you, both of you. I lost to Adam first time, and then all of a sudden it's like, come on, Brian, you need to get this win for us if we want to win this draft. And everybody in the chat was thinking, okay, it's gonna be 3-0, 4-0 to Adam, and then somehow I pull out a 2-1 victory, and all you guys are just celebrating in the background, playing Chelsea Dagger and Canadian National Anthem, just going nuts over there.
Oh yeah,
it was the best.
It was hashtag scenes. If I could lay that down, I think it is hashtag scenes.
It was a sight to behold.
We should do a big draft thing with the 3 channels again. At least just the 3 of us. Just do something for fun, just to mess around.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Get that going on.
Get that going either on the stream or put it up as a YouTube series. Just do something. We need to do it again.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I personally have not touched
absolutely.
the draft mode since FM8 because the draft is kind of dodgy. It still hasn't
It's broken as hell.
Yeah,
let me tell you what.
I believe it.
We've tried half a dozen times and it's worked like once maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm sure we can get it going with us, these 3 guys again.
Made it happen before, right?
Absolutely we did. I can't believe we didn't have problems during that.
You can play
like even the night before, we were having just like technical issues at the ass with it. But no, it held up for us and it was fantastic.
You can play this game, but you cannot pick this person, pick this person, pick this person, use this tactic, press that button, pull that lever. You cannot do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was avoiding hitting any button ever.
Yeah, and then we decided to do the goalie draft, which is my favorite thing I've ever done on Football Manager.
Oh my god,
Ben and Jack stole that for YouTube.
Wait, a goalie draft and then the striker in net. Oh, that was so great.
Yeah, yeah. Totally forgot about it. How could I forget about that?
Yeah, because I had Lukaku in net because he's like, hey, he's 6'4", he's gonna block the net. No ball's gonna get past him, and I see 5 go past him. It's like, oh shit.
I think we took Crouchy.
I'm pretty sure we took Crouchy. Yeah, I'm fairly certain.
He's 6'8". He
but
should be even
Kasper
better.
Schmeichel. It worked. We won. We beat Adam 10-0. So.
You get the
But that's my great. That's literally I won the Champions League twice with Dundee United last year. Beating Adam 10-0 with keepers is definitely my top achievement in Football Manager. Hell, I was the best manager in the world in 2014 in my save, of course, not in the actual world. That'd be tough. But that doesn't come close to beating Adam 10-0 with Casper Schmeichel scoring 6.
Now was that your first time ever scoring double digits in Football Manager? Like as a user, not just in a friendly. I mean, in a user game against an opponent.
No, Club World Cup in 2014. I did it once or twice. I had a Southampton save that I played for like 21 years, and it got a little rough by the end.
It might have been the first time for me. I think it was probably the first time for me. Yeah, I think it's safe to say that.
I know I was on the losing end of a 10-0 at one point in time.
Oh God.
I'm
surprised it never happened to me on a live comm.
This was back in FM 11. This was back in FM 11. I was playing as Rotherham, and Rotherham were actually my first ever team to play with on Football Manager. I just loaded up the first 4 English leagues and said, okay, random, and then Rotherham were the ones that popped up. So I went up with that. But I got into the Premier League. It took me like 7 seasons to get up into the Premier League from League 2. And my first match...
that's actually impressive.
My first match against Liverpool. Very first match in the Premier League, and I get stomped 10-0.
That is amazing, Brian. Oh my God.
And it's like, hey, I thought I had a good enough squad that could have survived, but no, it was 10-0 to Liverpool, something like 7-0 to Manchester United, to Manchester City.
Oh my God.
6-0 to Spurs and Arsenal. So it was just we just completely got our asses handed to us and relegated back down to the championship.
So you
dead last?
You call taking your lumps?
Dead last. I think we just barely got double digits in points.
Did you? Oh my God. You pulled a derby.
Pretty much.
You pulled worse than a derby. God damn.
No, I think Derby ended up getting relegated with like single digits, like 9, maybe 10
they had like
points.
9 points or something like that.
Jesus.
Yeah. Fuck, that's great. That's okay. Well, that was your first Football Manager game, right?
Correct.
Yeah, it's impressive that you got promoted to the Premier Division
from League 2 to the Premier League in 6 seasons. So that would have been 2.
That's really impressive.
Yeah, pretty much 2 years in each division going up.
That's really like damn. That is really impressive. I mean, it doesn't beat Slam Kyo. Just like first time playing this game, gonna be Rangers and not lose a game in the championship or whatever.
Yeah,
like that may have actually been his first time playing Scotland. I don't know. I can't remember the story.
No, if you want to talk about Rangers, you gotta go back to FM 13 when that was the first year they were relegated down to the lowest tier.
God.
You want to talk about easy mode, getting that Scottish Hero achievement. You go back to FM 13, you play as Rangers, and it's automatic promotion all the way up back to the Premier League.
All the way to the top. Oh, that's awesome. Have you ever gone a whole year in Football Manager without losing a game?
I have not. The closest I came was like 1 or 2 losses, and that was with my off-camera Everton save from FM 15.
No. I did it with Juve. In FM 14. I just wanted I was struggling a lot with the game because I was still pretty new to it, and I wanted something that was easier. So I jumped on with Juve. I did okay the first season, but then once the money came in and I got to do what I wanted to do, by the second season I was just so dominant. I went a whole season without losing.
Just start rolling people.
Yeah. FM 14 was your your unofficial first Football Manager game, right?
Yeah, I barely played 13.
Yeah, I didn't even have that many hours on 13. I think it's something like 150, 200 maybe hours on 13.
I might have 20,
but I've gone.
I like how
seasons.
you say that 100 hours isn't that much in a Football Manager game.
Yeah, Football Manager, that's nothing.
No, compared to some other people that put 2 to 3,000 hours into it. Yeah, the 100's nothing.
Yeah, it's weird to look back on, all the time I've spent playing Football Manager or whatever over the years, but then also putting it on top of all the hours I've streamed with Curtis that doesn't get put onto my Football Manager. I'm just like, oof, man, this is this is a lot. But you know what? It's worth it.
It is.
Fantastic people. and it's just crazy how many hours I've sunk into these games.
You meet with crazy people, you find crazy people to fit in with your tactic, and if you have the face pack and you get to see some of these weird hairdos and whatnot, these weird faces, like, oh man, Breck Shea back in FM13, you're looking like a crackhead. Oh my god, it was so bad.
Yeah. Sorry, I wanted to kind of move on from Football Manager, so if you have more Football Manager stuff to talk about. But I had a couple questions I wanted to ask Brian, not Football Manager related. So
absolutely. My FM13, so my first Football Manager was 275 hours, which was, I don't think that much for most people, but was a lot for me apparently. But yeah, no, absolutely, we can absolutely move away from Football Manager. Sort of, it's just stuff just it just flows.
Hey,
I have no problem with that. I want to get to some stuff that's not FM related, and we could probably go on for
I have a couple of questions loaded.
I am just here to answer your questions. I am on your show. I don't run your show.
Yeah, Brian, you can run our show. We let Adam, we let Ben host. You can do whatever.
Adam kind of hosted. Adam kind of did a thing where he would just ask us a question and then go quiet. It was great.
Yeah, it was great.
So I ask the questions now. You're on my show. This is my show.
Yeah, this is my show now. this is your show now, Brian. So yeah, let's start getting down to the nitty gritty. Let's ask Brian some questions.
Favorite games that aren't FM, Brian.
Favorite games that are not FM. Ooh, I am a big fan of the Legend of Zelda series.
Boosh, nice.
I could see that. Okay, so are you? I just want to ask this. Are you? Are you a Final Fantasy fan?
To a degree. I played 6, 7, 8. Okay. I'm not going to list them all. I played between 6 and 12, skipping 11. Because that was the online. That was the online one. Never really got into 13, and 14 is the next version of the online series. I don't think I'll get into 15. Honestly, it just doesn't look. After the bad taste that looking at FM13 gave me, I just really wasn't interested in it. And the new battle mechanic from 12, where it wasn't random battles, it was like, oh, you can just pick and choose. It was kind of like Chrono Trigger in that aspect, where you can see the enemies and you could choose to fight them. But it wasn't the random battles like in FM's past. That's what started turning me off of Final Fantasy. And then 13, it was just, one linear battle after another. And I was like, I'm just done. I'm done with Final Fantasy in general.
Okay.
But I do gotta say, FM's 6 was my favorite out of all of them. FM7, I know that gets the most hype, that gets the most praise. I honestly think it's a little overrated, but it's still in my top 3. Go FM6, FM10, FM7 as my top 3.
Yeah, I couldn't have hoped for a better answer there, Brian. I won't lie to you. That was great. I've never played a Final Fantasy game in my life. But I've just me and Curse were talking about you a couple days ago, and he was asking me what I thought your favorite games were. I was like, I don't know. I feel like Brian would probably be a Final Fantasy fan. It just seems like the timeline would be perfect, and that's just something you would have sunk a lot of time into and enjoyed. But that was perfect answer from you there, pal. That was great.
And yeah, I did. No, you're right. I did sink a lot of time into it. It's just that after a while, it's the new battle mechanics and the story in the later ones. I'm just done. I'm gonna move on to something else.
Fair enough. You said you were a big racing game fan,
Correct.
right?
Gran Turismo, Forza. Pretty much, I had a PS1 and a PS2, and then switched over to Xbox 360. So I got a mix of both the Gran Turismo and the Forza series, and Project.
Those games came for free with it, right?
And Project Gotham Racing for Xbox 360. I can't forget that. I love that series too.
Was it Gran Turismo 3 that came for free with the PlayStation 2?
Yeah, because Gran Turismo 1 and 2 were for PlayStation. Gran Turismo 3 was the first one for PS2. Yes, it was.
Yeah. And then Forza 4, I think, came for free with the Xbox 360, right?
If it did, I didn't get it because I had gotten it. No, it didn't come free with the Xbox 360. That may have been in later generations. I got my 360 back in 2007. Yeah. Forza 4 wasn't out yet.
Okay. I remember I got the 360 when it launched, and then because I had so many issues, I bought another one. I eventually ran out of warranty when they kept breaking, and I got another one. I feel like the other one I got was probably 2008, 2009. And I think I got it for free with it.
Okay.
Which game was the one where it had like the soccer mini game?
Forza 4.
Do you know what I'm talking
About? Forza 4 because that was the one
that was so much fun.
Because that was the one that was collaborated with Top Gear, and it had Jeremy Clarkson doing voiceovers and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Yeah, that game mode was so much
car football
fun.
Is such a great mini game, and that's why I like Rocket League so much.
I've been playing so much Rocket League lately.
I finally hopped on with Curtis and Adam last night. It was a lot of fun. I actually didn't do as terribly as I thought I would. I had like one good game and the rest were mediocre, but I'm okay with I'm very okay with beating mediocre.
Mediocre.
So, mediocrity is where I'm at my finest.
Yeah, but when Rocket League came out, I thought it was only going to be a PS4 exclusive, and that's why I got sad. And I heard it was coming out on Steam, and I was happy again.
And thank God, it's so much fun, man. That's one of those games. I've only ever played that game with people, so my hours aren't that high on it. But every time I play with a group of people, I have so much fucking fun.
Nowadays, it's
a lot.
Nowadays, it's pretty much if I'm not playing Football Manager, Rocket League is my second most played game. I will just go. I'll just go into some pubs and play Rocket League with random people, and just because I love
your pub stomping kids.
It doesn't even matter if I'm the best one on there. I'm just love the game so much. It's that good of a game.
How many hours have you put into it on Steam?
Oh boy, let me take a look. Rocket League. I have put in. Well, I got this game back in like November, I think is when it came out for Steam. 227 hours.
That makes sense because you're fucking good. You're really good.
Brian, I gotta hop in a game with you one day. I've been like, you have been hyped up to me from some people. I mean, from Curtis and Adam, but
as I said,
those are people.
As I said to Curtis and Adam, I've been heralded by Chaz, as apparently the Rocket League Pele. But sometimes I'll get in a game.
Wow.
Sometimes I'll get in a game and I'm with other masters or legends, and I all of a sudden become Rocket League Emil Heskey. I become that shit.
Okay.
So it's very hit or miss. It's very hit or miss depending on who I'm with and who we're playing against.
I'm the self-proclaimed Adebayor of Rocket League. I have one brilliant game amongst 300 games of shit.
I'm like I don't know. No, I was gonna say Josie Altadora, but he's better than me.
Wait, because he can find the net every once in a while.
Yeah, Freddie Adu maybe.
Oh my god!
I had potential. It went away real fast.
I could have been a contender, and then I went to Tampa Bay.
No, I'm playing out the Rowdies.
Yeah,
there you go. That's just the Buccaneers.
Jesus.
See, this is what happens when I talk about football, guys. If I say football too many times, that never actually happens to me.
Say football too much? I thought you would have gone into, hey, how about them Argonauts?
Argonauts.
Oh,
Fuck
God, please no. Fuck the Argos, man. They're stealing our damn stadium.
Yeah, I know. You talked about this a couple of months ago that they were planning on moving into BMO Field, so...
Yeah, fucking jerks.
Maybe we'll talk about it on the MLS podcast. Who knows?
I'm sure it'll come up at some point. Our anger will just unleash on them. On the MLS.
Yeah, fair enough. This is neither the time nor the place to go into CFL.
No, I'm a happy mood right now.
And Chris is talking to Brian. He's recording a podcast, and you bring up the goddamn CFL. Yeah. What's wrong with you, man?
Yeah.
Well, this podcast just took a downwards turn.
Yeah, well, that was episode 13, guys. Yeah. See you later. These guys can keep recording, but I'm out.
You're never going to hear from Brian again.
Technical difficulties while Curtis goes into a fit of rage.
Yeah.
I'll cut his mic, don't worry.
Replacing Brian on the MLS podcast will be literally anyone.
Anybody. Just has anyone even heard of the MLS? You could be on. I don't care.
Yeah. Can you spell MLS?
There's not huge standards. Yeah.
Quick, what's the number for 911? I don't know.
I'll dial the 9 and the 1, and then you tell me when to dial the other one. And there's a Simpsons joke, one of the greatest shows of all time. Brian, are you a Simpsons fan?
Do you see?
Yeah, old Simpsons, definitely. I have not kept up with it. This is another one of those things, like, I just don't like the new direction of the Simpsons. I honestly don't like the new art style. I don't like the new stories.
Okay.
So I stick with anything between inception of the Simpsons all the way up to like 2002, 2003. That's where I think it was a breaking point between good and bad.
So like basically like season 15 is kind of like a marker for you, like kind of the turning point.
If you want to go even further, all the way up until the Simpsons movie, and then Simpsons movie because everyone thought that the Simpsons movie was going to be the official end of the Simpsons, and then it just kept dragging on, and they started rehashing storylines like, this has definitely not become a good show to watch anymore.
Well, I don't necessarily agree with you, but I get where you're coming from. So.
Yeah, I definitely don't find the new seasons as entertaining, but like season 20 is start to finish is a phenomenal season. Like their 20th anniversary one was just brilliant. But you know, I feel where it comes from on the it declined, and definitely the newest stuff. I can't. It doesn't have the same. It doesn't have the same feeling as the early. You know, even like when they really hit their high point from season 7 to 12, I would say.
Yeah, pretty much.
It just
late 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. So
we're never getting another "You Only Move Twice" or anything like that, right? Tale of Two Springfields.
Best episode of television
Hank
ever.
Scorpio.
Right there.
You know it.
Oh my God.
Right, we're never gonna get that again, but I'm okay with it.
That's okay.
Yeah, no, like
don't the Simpsons now have like every other episode as a quote unquote special guest appearance or something like that? Isn't that like
Hey, that's like the Brunch Party Podcast, baby.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. I can't knock it.
Yeah, we do the same thing.
We
should have Matt Groening on
The Simpsons learned from the best is what they did.
Exactly. We started this podcast 2 months ago. They've been keeping up. They've been keeping up with the lives of Mark and Curtis.
Yeah, Simpsons definitely running out of ideas if they're stealing from you.
Okay, okay, Brian. we get almost an hour in. You become sour with us. I see how it is. You know who
it's just a little bit fun of us? It's just a little bit of hashtag banter. That's all it is.
It's just a Canadian, bit of banter, isn't it?
It's the Canadian American relations going downhill as we speak.
It's going down. It's going down the tubes like the Canadian dollar's exchange rate.
Oh fuck! So he goes at us again.
Jesus, so you know who did make fun of us, Brian?
Who?
Adam did make fun of us.
I guess you need to bring Adam on more often than not. Then I guess.
Yeah, you know, before we started recording, he accidentally came into our Discord and freaked out a little bit. Maybe I'll just invite him back in. I'll get a little 10 minutes of Adam at the end of the podcast.
Like
some light at the end of the tunnel.
There'll be no audio file for him, so you won't hear what's happening. But oh boy, will he be there.
Cut Brian's mic.
Yeah, he'll be there. Don't you worry.
Like this,
could you imagine if he dropped it?
This podcast is over. If he drops in right now.
Listen. No, if he just dropped in at the beginning there and didn't say anything, just like turned off his microphone and just listened the whole time while we were recording this.
That would be amazing. That would be so fantastic.
So much.
I would be freaking out every time that he spoke, because then there would have just been a dead spot in the audio and just us reacting to apparently nothing on the other end.
No, I mean like if he would have came and muted his microphone and stayed in the thing, so we couldn't hear anything he said, and he was just listening to us record this. That would be fucking
live
funny,
version
man.
of the podcast.
That'd be funny.
It'd be funny.
Yeah, we gotta get used to doing it live for people.
Freak me out just a bit, listening in on our conversation.
Yeah, I think it would mess with me a little bit.
Yeah, it'd be a little weird. Adam's a creepy guy, so you know.
No more creepier than usual.
No, fair enough. Very fair enough. Oh, Adam. Sorry,
it's okay.
pal.
We love you.
Have you ever gotten any creepy requests from Twitch or anything, Brian?
To, like, take my pants off or something?
Like,
no, like, have you ever got like a creepy request or like DM from anyone on either Twitch or YouTube that like stood out to you?
For Twitch or YouTube, no, but personal Facebook is a couple of rather bad ones that I had
really?
that I just had to block away. And no, it's not anybody from Twitch or YouTube. It just happened.
Were the people that you knew in real life?
It just happened that it was I can't even say a friend of a friend, because it was probably somebody who was stalking another person's page, saw me respond, and then started private messaging me on Facebook. So it's like, dude, I don't know you, and this conversation is going in a weird direction, so I'm hitting the block button.
That's amazing.
Juicy gossip.
That's amazing.
But no, I really have.
That's why I deleted Facebook.
But no, I really haven't had any bad experience from Twitch or YouTube. Haven't had any bad, instances with other people on Twitch or YouTube.
Except for Taunt.
Except with Taunt. Now that's a shot at Taunt.
Oh, he knows he's getting a shot.
Have you listened to the podcast? Come on.
He knows he's getting a shot.
That
guy's
every
weird.
week.
That's weird as hell.
Yeah, weird man.
Daily occurrence.
The requests we get from that guy. Yeah, well, if you want to keep away from the creepy requests, just don't stream with your brother. So there you go. Or sister,
Yeah, true,
or any of your family.
Very true.
You know?
I was gonna say I got that check mark down. No brother, so I'm all good.
Yeah, there you go. We get that all the time.
Do you have any siblings?
I do. I have two. I have two younger sisters
and a hedgehog.
Okay.
and a hedgehog. Yes, that my sister brought on stream a couple weeks ago. Yeah, that's her hedgehog.
Oh, that's
Spiky
fantastic.
ball of doom is what it is. It's angry spiky ball. It doesn't like me. It does not like me
That's
whatsoever.
awesome. A hedgehog is such a great pet. I have a friend who had a hedgehog as a pet. It was just such an interesting pet, but such a great pet.
I also have a friend who has a hedgehog, and she's like, that puts videos up on Instagram and shit. I'm just like, oh man, that's so cool. I wish I had a freaking hedgehog.
Yeah, but they
can like float in the bath and stuff.
They always
it's so funny.
They always sound so huffy though. Whenever you try to pick it up, they just start They start to sound like they're hyperventilating, like they're trying to be mean.
Yeah,
Maybe because the hedgehog doesn't
They're trying
like
to
you.
puff their chest or puff their spikes out. They're trying to be mean, but in the end, they're just end up being cute because it's like, oh, you're not evil. You're just too cute.
You're not gonna do anything
Just
to me.
little. That's awesome. Did you have anything?
Yeah, I love.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mark.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, Brian, did you have anything you wanted to come to the table and ask us in this podcast?
Everything that I have pretty much is better suited towards the MLS podcast. So
that's great.
Leave it for that.
For anybody that's listening and wants to hear my questions to both Curtis and Mark, please check out their podcast, their live podcast on Sunday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I believe that is the start time.
You nailed it.
Yep. God,
Okay,
you're
well,
such a good host.
you brought up on Discord not so long ago, and I said we should save it for the podcast, but you were asking Mark and I if we are Marvel movie fans. So I'll turn it back around to you. Like, are you a big Marvel fan? Marvel, DC?
I'm actually just a general comic book movie fan. I haven't been back when it was like a down period of comic book movies, 2003, 2004, 2005, like right
Spider-Man,
Fantastic Four. Edward Norton's Incredible Hulk.
That's one I was gonna say.
Oh
that's
my
one that stands out for me.
But no, it all started with me with Batman Begins, really. You know, with I believe it was Frank Miller. Frank Miller was the one that directed that, or not Christopher Nolan, but it was Frank Miller's writing. And you know, Frank Miller also did Sin City, so you had that dark grittiness, and I just found that very appealing at the time. And you know, that's what originally got me back into the reading of comics and watching comic book movies, because I was at one point in time an X-Men comic book collector.
I was about to say, wasn't 2003?
Nice.
Wasn't that X2? Didn't X2 come out in 2003?
Yes, because X1, the original X-Men came out in 2001, and that started the whole love affair, everyone's love affair with Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
Yep.
There you go.
And then X2 came out in 2003, and X3, The Last Stand, came out in either late 2005 or early 2006. And then I remember that being panned up and down because it was such a bad movie.
Yeah, they came out and said that like everything's canon except for X3. X3 is not canon.
So bad. Everything Fantastic Four is bad. The original, The Rise of the Silver Surfer, and then the reboot. Oh my god, I'd never want to watch any of those movies ever again.
The Rise of the I never saw the newest reboot, the one that they recently made. I didn't even bother with it. But Rise of the Silver Surfer was the worst video game ever made as well.
Yes.
The video game they made for that was literally the worst video game ever made in history. It was worse than Superman 64.
You get hit by a couple pixels worth of anything and you die, and you gotta start over. It was so bad.
I've never played that.
Yeah, Rise of the Silver Surfer was so bad that it came out, and within a month, it was in like the $10 bins. Wait, and I went to go pick it up, and I forget why I was picking it up, but I put it on the counter at an EB Games. And the guy looked at me and said, "Don't buy this game." I was like, it's $10. I think I was buying a bunch of just games just to mess around, like something I could just play in my downtime and just dick around with. And the guy looked at me and said, "Don't buy this game." I was like, "It's $10." He's just like, "Yeah, don't waste your $10. Like, go buy some fries at the fry cart over there instead of buying this shitty piece of shit game." No, I never bought it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That man has steered you in the right direction.
Yeah. Clearly.
God, yeah, no, I can honestly say I never played that game, and thank God. I can also say I've never seen those movies, so
You didn't
also
miss much.
thank
You
God
didn't
for
see
that.
you didn't see the original Fantastic Four? I was a kid at the time. So
Actually, I should say I watched Rise of the Silver Surfer, whatever the hell that one was. I did see that one.
I probably should hate to admit this, but I was like, what year was the original Fantastic Four movie? Does anyone have that on the top of their head?
The original Fantastic Four movie would have come out in like 2004. Like I said, it was in the dead.
Yeah, okay.
I was gonna say
It was in the dead period.
I was gonna guess it was around 2005 or so. So I was only like 12 at the time. So to me, it was just like it was a cool action movie. And I remember going back and trying to watch it when I was like maybe like 15. And I went back and watched it. I was like, this is the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it was.
I think I got 5 minutes
2005.
into it. I was like, nope, fuck it. Yeah, so I was 12.
that's like Jessica Alba one, right? The one that she
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, I did see that.
And it also had current Captain America, Chris Evans.
Yeah, Chris Evans.
Yeah. God, he's in fucking everything.
Boy, he turned his career around after starring in one shitty superhero movie, coming in back.
He wasn't
Holy
actually
shit.
like if
Michael
we're gonna-
Chiklis was in it.
Dickless for Michael Chiklis.
I'm going Dickless for Chiklis, man.
Wow.
Nobody's gonna get
Clearly
that joke.
not.
Nobody's gonna get that joke except for me and you,
Not-
Mark.
Not a
That's okay.
single person.
If you got that joke,
Worth
tweet us
it.
at 2-Man Brunch Party, please. I would love to know
Boosh. Nice.
with the reference.
Nice.
Yeah, no, Chris Evans was actually probably the only half decent part about that movie because he was just like when I was 12, he was like this hotshot fire guy. I was like, okay, I could dig with this. He's good with the ladies. He flicks his fingers, starts a little flame. I'm about it. I could dig it.
Well, yeah,
And then again, when I
Johnny
went back to
Johnny
watch
was
like
supposed
hot fire guy,
Johnny in the comic books was always like that too. He was supposed to be this hotshot know-it-all that was kind of decent with the ladies as well. So yeah, of course he portrayed that perfectly, but that didn't save it from being a god-awful movie.
Terrible piece of
Being
shit.
just a flaming piece of shit, yeah.
Yeah, like
Flaming
I remember as well too. Like I remember loving Spider-Man 1.
Yes, I agree with you.
And Spider-Man 2 even wasn't too bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't too bad. And then I remember going to the theaters with some people to see Spider-Man 3, and I was actually pretty excited.
Oh my god.
And I left that theater like the most confused I've ever been in my life. It wasn't even disappointment. I was confused. I was like, I gotta rethink my life at this point.
Why is Tobey
I
Maguire with a comb over emo and doing a weird dance? Mommy, I'm scared.
That's
What's
my spirit animal right there.
what's
Emo
going on?
The whole
Spider-Man.
Tobey Maguire dance just in front of the door.
Oh yeah. If I could snap my fingers, I'd be doing that every goddamn day, man. Let me tell you what.
God damn.
Emo Spider-Man is my favorite thing in the world.
And people like
Topher,
I don't know.
Topher Grace. Not Red Foreman, Red Foreman's son from That 70s Show as Venom.
Yeah, Eric Foreman.
How do you cast that? Why do you cast that?
I was about to say he was
Who
actually
knows?
Topher Grace was maybe the only good part about Spider-Man 3. being like
Well,
he was basically
that could be debatable.
he was basically just like a shitty like I don't know. It's funny to me. It was actually funny they casted Topher Grace because he's kind of just like a whiny bitch version of Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, no, like they're almost the exact same person. I get those two confused all the fucking time. They're the same person. I couldn't believe they casted him as the evil person in that movie. I was like, are you kidding me? You're casting him.
He was Topher Grace is the one who made the fan cut of Star Wars. That's known as like a better way to watch Star Wars, to watch the Topher Grace.
Topher
fan
Grace made that?
Really?
Yep.
Did not know that.
Yep. Yeah,
I didn't.
yeah.
I thought that was some guy on Reddit.
No, there is one guy on Reddit who made one, but it's a bit different. The guy on Reddit basically took Topher Grace took the 1, 2, and 3, and he made a fan cut of it. That's considered like a decent way to make a prequel as one movie. And then some guy on Reddit went and took, or no, I think maybe after Topher Grace also took 4, 5, and 6 and made it into one movie as well. And then one guy on Reddit took both and made it into one. Like this should be like what it is. But yeah, the original one, I'm pretty sure, and I hope I'm not talking my ass here, but I'm pretty sure it was made by Topher Grace.
That's great. I did not know that whatsoever.
You guys can kind of bant right between each other right now, but I will go and look it up right now.
Fair enough.
I just went to Google Topher Grace, and one of the things was Star Wars. So yeah, no, you're absolutely correct.
Fair
yeah,
enough.
today I learned that Topher Grace edited together the
The Star Wars mega movie or something
load.
like that.
Yeah. Today I learned that Topher Grace edited together the Star Wars prequels into an 85-minute film that was described by Peter Scoretti of Slash Films, don't know who that is, as probably the best possible edit of the Star Wars prequels given the footage released and available. So,
Boosh,
good for you, Curtis.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Not talking to my ass. Way to go, me.
I was very... I was almost like, no, there's no fucking way you can be serious with that. I wanted you to be wrong, but no, I concede here.
That was a big thing when he was filming that 70s show. Is like his character on that 70s show was a big Star Wars nerd because he wanted that as a big Star Wars nerd. He knew he could kind of portray that well. It was like it worked perfectly for him. His character was a Star Wars nerd. In real life, he is a Star Wars nerd as well. Brian, you a Star Wars guy?
I am a Star Wars guy, and I take after my father in that because he was the one who is the big sci-fi guy, where I get my big sci-fi kick from. He's not only a Star Wars fan, but also a Star Trek fan. He watched the original series when it came out. He was a little kid. He got me into The Next Generation and Voyager, and got me into that. We still have all the VHSs of the first 6 Star Wars films. Or it's not Star Wars, actually Star Trek. First 6 Star Trek films we got on VHS. Went to go see pretty much all the new remastered Star Wars in theaters. When they redid 4, 5, and 6, went to go see that in theaters. Saw 1, 2, 3, and then now 7 in theaters. Yeah, my dad is pretty much the reason why I'm a big sci-fi guy as well. He's also the reason why I like Doctor Who, because he grew up with Doctor Who, 3rd Doctor, 4th Doctor, and that's where I get my love of Doctor Who as well.
You're a Whovian.
I am a Whovian, all because of my dad, who is an old school Whovian.
I went to see episode 1 with my dad as well. Like, I remember going to the theaters to see episode 1. And I remember it was like, I was pretty young at the time. I remember it was one of those things where there was an argument between my mom and my dad whether or not I was old enough to go see Star Wars in theaters, because I forget what the movie came out, the rating in Canada. I want to say it was maybe 14A in Canada. And I was probably, what year did episode 1 come out? 2001?
99.
Okay, so yeah, I was,
99.
That's probably one of my earliest memories then. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I was like, 7 at the time, turning 7, and there was an argument between my mom and my dad whether I was old enough to go to the theaters and see it. My dad was like, he's seen all the other ones 100 times, he can go. Yeah, so I remember going to see episode 1, episode 2, and episode 3 all in theaters. And I also remember being scared shitless of Darth Maul. Like,
episode 1, like, that isn't Darth Maul, and also fucking, spoilers.
I don't know if it's spoilers.
Qui-Gon Jinn get cut in half.
I was going to say, I don't know if it's spoilers 17 years later, but go on. But yeah, Darth Maul was such an intimidating figure. The dual lightsaber, no one had ever seen that before, and it was a big a big gasp moment in the theater when that popped out.
Well, it's one of those things.
That whole fight scene was a nice little awe-inspiring moment. Just
isn't that Darth Maul dual lightsaber? Because again, I was fucking 3 when that movie came out. But isn't like the dual lightsaber isn't that like the most spoiled thing in the because wasn't that in the original trailer?
In the trailer, yeah.
So that was
in the trailer they showed him, which a lot of people were surprised they showed him, and he brought his saber out, and it obviously the one side went up, so it looked like he had a regular saber, and then he turned his arm, and the other side came out, and the trailer ended. And
I think,
I mean, considering what the fight was, it didn't matter at all because it got cut in half almost immediately. It was like,
well,
yeah, but it was spoiled. It was spoiled like in the first trailer for that.
I honestly think that's kind of I think that's a kind of akin to how the trailers were for episode 7, and you had Kylo Ren with the 3-pronged lightsaber with the crossguard lightsaber, and everyone was going apeshit over that. I think it was pretty much the exact same thing. People were going crazy over that.
Yeah, I guess it is. And
it was in the trailer too. It was in the trailer too, so everyone saw what it was.
It's pretty known amongst people who may have listened since the early days of Brunch Party Podcast, because I think the first episode we ever recorded was right after we saw The Martian. But I'm the type of person who really, really, really enjoys going into movies without seeing any trailers for it. Now, that being said, I love sitting in the movies, getting into the movies early, and watching the trailers that are coming out. But I try my best with a lot of the movies that I'm excited to go see to not see like all the trailers for. And like Star Wars, I was so hyped for, I couldn't hold back but to watch that trailer. But yeah, I think that was the only Star Wars trailer I saw out of all the ones they released, was the one with the Kylo Ren in the forest.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I do have a couple questions for you guys once we're done with the Star Wars talk.
Yeah. No, go for it. Absolutely go for it.
Let me finish off what I was going to say about that episode 1 thing. Is I grew up in a really lucky situation being the middle child because I was never paid attention to what I was doing. So like I was watching South Park when I was like 12, and my parents probably would have never let me do that, except for the fact that I had an older sister they were focusing on, right, going through like school and everything like that, and a younger brother they had to make sure didn't die or whatever when he was a baby. So I think what year did Freddy vs. Jason come out? Because I downloaded illegally Freddy vs. Jason.
Oh wow!
Like
that movie is so fucking bad.
I think I watched that when I was like 11 or something like that.
The premise of Freddy vs. Jason, it had a lot of potential, but they just build it so badly because they were trying to make it seem very equal. They didn't want to favor one more than the other, and I think that's what hindered the movie at the end of the day, is because they were trying to cater to both fans, and it just ended up being a very bland movie.
The one that stands out to me, 2000, yeah. See, so I would have been 10 years old. I remember when I was like 12. We used to get my best friend growing up. We used to hang out every day. We used to get his brother to go to Blockbuster and rent us, his older brother, and rent us a bunch of like horror movies. I remember when I was like 12, I saw Dawn of the Dead for the first time, and yeah, I was very lucky that I wasn't paid attention to because I got to scare the shit out of myself and watch shit I was really not supposed to. But yeah, that's all I wanted to add on to that.
That's true. Yeah, but we're gonna be wrapping this up pretty quick, or fairly soon. So Brian, if you want to ask us some questions, hit us up.
Couple of questions, and they're both movie related. What was your favorite movie out of the last year that you saw?
It had to come out last year.
Yeah, between this time last year and now.
Of course.
That's tough. There's
go
ahead, Mark.
Oh, this time last year and now. Oh wait. Well, I mean, okay, Star Wars has like a really special place in like my thinking because it's my first Star Wars movie I've seen in theaters, which is kind of a cool thing. Like, everyone has that sort of thing that they've done. Like, I mean, that's a big thing for
Star
a lot
Wars
of
is
kids,
like the obvious. Do you want to not include Star Wars because that's maybe the obvious answer?
Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
I was actually thinking about something else, but yeah, I won't include Star Wars.
There's 3 in my mind that are pretty close, and I think Mark, it's probably pretty close with Mark as well. Hateful Eight, is one. Martian is the other one.
I honestly have not had a chance to see that Tarantino film. I think I need to. I need to get on that.
So
I know
good.
I need to get on that. But The Martian, okay.
The Martian, Martian was another one, and then like the other one that maybe wouldn't go on everyone's list, but is definitely on mine was Ex Machina.
I did hear that name pop up a couple times in the Academy Awards, but I honestly cannot say I've ever seen the movie. I honestly can't say I've ever even heard of the movie.
It's on Netflix, and it's 100% worth a watch. It's okay. I really, really enjoy it. It has Oscar Isaac, the guy who played Poe on Star Wars, and he's going to be Apocalypse in X-Men. And it's phenomenal, man. It's a very, very good movie. It's one of those movies that only has like 4 people in it. Like, as far as the entire thing is shot in the middle of nowhere with only like 4 people. And it's phenomenally done, and it has this really great tone to it and everything. I really liked Ex Machina.
All right.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I really think my favorite movie was like that. Isn't because I do think mine was Star Wars. I really do think it's The Martian. That movie was so fucking good. Yeah. I really, really enjoyed The Martian. That was one where I didn't really know what to expect going into it, and it blew me out of the water. It was really, really good.
How about you, Brian?
I also have a top 3 as well. I can't really pinpoint one down. I'm not going to include Star Wars, of course, but number 3, I am a big James Bond fan. I have every single James Bond movie sitting here at my house. Spectre was number 3 for this last year. Not Daniel Craig's best work, not as good as Skyfall, but I believe it's still held up. Held its own in terms of it's an older James Bond. He's trying to come to grips with technology and trying to fight the enemy using modern day to postmodern technology. Second, Mad Max. Absolutely loved Mad Max.
I I hate to admit, and it's a type of movie I would love, but I didn't get to see Mad Max.
I also haven't got to see it yet. Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure if it's not out on DVD or Blu-ray or anything, you gotta go pick it up.
I'll rent it I'll rent it on Google Play Movies tonight and watch it.
And then number 1, it only came out 2 weeks ago. Deadpool. Deadpool is my number 1 over the last year. Deadpool just blew it out of the water in terms of the comedy, the action.
So fucking good.
It was probably one of the best movies I've ever seen. It's not my favorite. It has not trumped my favorites, but it is one of the. It's on my Mount Rushmore of best movies of all time.
Yeah. I mean, there's many. There's a lot of movies from the last 2 years, I'd say, that kind of all push into sort of what I think of 2015 movies, but I'm pretty sure Kingsman was late 2014, but that would be up there. And
Kingsman was January, early February last year, because I went to go see that as well. It was very good.
Because I think I went to see Kingsman for Justin's birthday, which is the 28th of February.
That would make sense. Yeah, that was such a good movie.
For Harrison's birthday.
Fucking Deadpool was so fucking good, man.
Oh yeah, Deadpool was so good.
All right,
it's exactly what a person like me who is into comic book movies but is also kind of an asshole. It's exactly
adult comedy comic book movie.
Exactly. It's I've been waiting for that. I've been waiting for it, and it happened. It was so fucking.
It hit all the right notes, and I can't wait for the sequel. All right, and my second question for you, staying with the theme. Okay, we did your favorite over the last year. What is your favorite movie of all time?
I mean, for someone, I like to watch as many movies as I possibly can, even if they don't get good reviews or even if they're not talked about. I just try to watch a lot of movies. So for me, it's really kind of impossible to say because I go through spurts of things I'm really, really into.
Yeah.
So there's a
let's give them our somewhat of top 5. I know we can't fit all of what you would hope to fit
top
in
5, maybe even a top 3.
I can try. Yeah, I'll try my best. I'd say, Grand Budapest Hotel's up there.
Okay.
Because I think it's everything that I love about Wes Anderson thrown together. Shawshank's up there because growing up that was my all-time favorite movie, and I've watched it 100 million times. And I feel like I should toss Whiplash in there probably. I think that would probably fit in there as maybe number 3, and I'm forget I watch so much stuff. I could go on the more jokey stuff where Scott Pilgrim's one of my all-time favorites. There's a lot of stuff like that, but yeah, I'll say those 3.
Okay, all right, Mark.
I'm gonna go by. Okay, I'll give you a top 5-ish, but Pulp Fiction's probably maybe my favorite movie of all time.
Fucking so good.
No, another good Tarantino film. Yes, love it.
Yeah, everything Tarantino.
I love everything Tarantino.
I like Inglourious Basterds would be up there for me.
Oh yeah, fuck.
Reservoir Dogs for me.
Whiplash.
Oh my god, so many good movies.
I mean, yeah, it's every Tarantino movie, literally every Tarantino movie.
I was gonna say we haven't even touched Django Unchained.
Oh
yeah, fuck.
Okay, I'm gonna just say Wes Anderson, Quentin Tarantino. That's my favorite movies of all time. Yeah. There you go.
All right.
Yeah. So, Pulp Fiction's and that's really up there. Whiplash is it's up there, very close. As well as Grand Budapest. Those are same thing as Curtis. I fucking love Wes Anderson, and that movie really encapsulates
encapsulates.
Is that a word?
Encapsulate.
Yeah, that's what I want. Yeah, that's it. Brian, say that word for me.
Encapsulate.
It. Yeah, it really does that for Wes. I'm not dumb. I'm just I'm having one of those nights. It really that's just what I think of when I think of Wes Anderson. Fuck. I really love the Cornetto trilogy, but being more specific, I really love Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead. Those are I've watched those movies probably 20 times. I think those are fucking fantastic.
And I would agree with you because I haven't seen the third one in that trilogy. I've only seen Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz.
I have seen The World's End, and I don't dislike it by any means, and I think it fits really well in the trilogy.
But it doesn't have...
But I think the other two are just
It doesn't have the same oomph as the other two.
Yeah, I think the other two are just like a little bit more. It's a bit more of a step. But again, I don't dislike the last movie whatsoever.
Better mixes of comedy as well as action alongside it.
Yeah, I should pop in with like three more that are notable for me is the Irving Welsh sort of trilogies, Trainspotting, Ecstasy, and is the last one Filth? I think the last one's Filth, right? With James McAvoy. Is that the three? Yeah. Those are phenomenal. Like Trainspotting is one of my favorites. I was going to say
you would know that better than I do because I honestly haven't. I only know of Trainspotting. I don't know the others.
Those are all like books written by.
He's an author. Yeah, it's the three that stand out for me is Trainspotting, Ecstasy, and Filth.
Okay.
And Trainspotting is like the best of all those three.
So probably Pulp Fiction, Whiplash, Grand Budapest, and then the first two Cornetto trilogy movies. Those are probably my top four. Those are like the four go-to movies for me, and then just like fucking like 50 other ones that I've seen 100 times. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about this one. Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. I find it really hard. Yeah, like Curtis said, I find it really hard to pick a all-time favorite movie.
I just love movies too much.
It's like picking my favorite band. It changes every other week,
How about you, Brad?
All right, I do have a top three, but it kind of sticks to the same formula. I love mob movies and I love spy movies. So number three,
fair game.
Okay, number three, Goldfinger. My most favorite James Bond of all time, Sean Connery. You can't go wrong with Sean Connery.
Of course,
number two, The Dark Knight. The best movie out of the three.
It's that far up.
The best movie out of the three. A lot better than Batman Begins and Dark Knight Rises. It's the
funny,
best out of all three.
We were actually talking about the Batman trilogy last week.
Yeah, how about that?
There you go.
And then number one, and it has been number one for quite a long time, The Godfather. My all-time favorite movie.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah.
Oh, God,
I mean,
so
I think it might be the all-time greatest movie. Like, it might be the best movie of all time.
I don't think it's undisputed, but it is number one. It's number one in mine for a reason because it's good. Mm-hmm. It doesn't put in too much action. It does a lot of its movie. It does a lot of its talking through the dialogue. It is a slow film.
Yep.
A lot of people don't like that, but it's great. It's a great storytelling film. Talking about the rise of Al Pacino's character, Michael Corleone, going through the family, taking revenge on his enemies and becoming the new head crime boss of the Corleone family. And yes, like I said, not a lot of action, though when the killings start, it does get bloody, but it's very story-based, and that's something that I love in that type of film. In a mob type film.
Absolutely.
There's two older movies that stand out for me. One is 12 Angry Men, because like that's one of those movies that like when I did this thing, or Mark and I would say both did this thing where when I started to watch more and more film, I wanted to go from the very top of the IMDb top 100 rated movies list and just start watching down all of them. And 12 Angry Men was one of I think it's up like in the top 10, but it's like a 1950s movie, and I almost didn't want to watch that one as much as some of the other ones because I didn't know how much I'd like it. So I finally got around to watching it. It was like one of the greatest movies I've ever watched in my life.
Yeah,
and the other one,
12 Angry Men, is a fantastic movie.
One of the other ones is one of the very first horror movies I ever saw, and definitely the earliest horror movie. And I love the horror genre. I love campy horror movies. Mm-hmm. But one of the very first horror movies I ever saw was a movie that I don't know that a lot of people would know, but it's The Abominable Dr. Phibes.
I've never heard of that, honestly.
It's a horror movie where Vincent Price is a doctor who gets in a car accident with his wife, and during the operation of his wife, finds out that his wife passed away, but he survived, and he's going back getting revenge on all the different doctors and everything that go through, and he's all scarred up, and he's wearing this like thing over his face, and yeah, it's a Vincent Price movie, and it's fucking phenomenal. Like, I don't know if many people know of that movie, but it's one of the very first horror movies I've ever seen. It's one of my absolute favorites.
I have to throw an honorable mention out there. In my grade 11 media class, we all had to do a little project on directors, and and my group got Charlie Chaplin. And at the time, I was like, okay, I'm a little like hesitant about this because it's like, oh, we have like Martin Scorsese's and blah blah blah, just like a bunch of like directors that I was really loving at the time. I was watching a lot of their movies and stuff. I was like, that's like, okay, we'll do this. And I watched Modern Times, and holy shit, did that movie fucking blow my mind. It really like it changed my view on film in general. After I watched that movie, it was a really like really,
even though it was a movie from like the
experience.
What would it have been, the 30s or 40s?
30s, yeah, late 30s, I think. It's a fantastic. If anyone out there has never watched Modern Times because you don't think it would be like your cup of tea or whatever, just please do yourself the favor and go and watch that film. It is fan-fucking-tastic. Just, oh my god.
All right.
So good.
So
the man was a genius.
My last point on sorry, I just want to come back to it, but my last point on The Abominable Dr. Phibes, and the reason that this movie, I know I was probably too young at the time, but one of the reasons this movie was on my radar so much in high school was because it is kind of it's sort of among the campy scene sort of thing. It's known as one of the last things that Keith Moon ever did before he overdosed. It was like the last movie he ever saw before he overdosed. Like he loved it so much as he watched it near the end there, and it had like this like sort of camp reputation for that. It was what, I don't know, what made me watch it again in high school. Yeah, it's one of those fucking phenomenal things about it.
And it's with Vincent Price. Interesting.
Yeah.
Chris is a huge
campy and Vincent Price. So you liked House on Haunted Hill, I'm sure.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, House on Haunted Hill. Oh man.
Yeah,
that is the quintessential Vincent Price film too.
Oh, it's
because when you think of Vincent
man.
Price, that's like almost the first one you think of.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have the the DVD for that with the remake on. It's like one of those when they started making those 2-side DVDs where you could flip it over. I have the DVD that has the original and then the remake on the other side, and it's
nice,
fucking phenomenal.
Very
man.
nice.
I love that movie.
House on Haunted Hill is so good. The first time I ever saw that was when you bought that DVD. We watched both of them together, and goddamn, was that movie so just fantastic. But I hate to cut our conversation short or anything, but if I'm honest, I forgot to bring my laptop charger in here, and I'm running dangerously close on power.
I am too.
So I think right around now is a good time to wrap it up.
Sounds good to me. I'd like to thank you all very much for having me on.
Thank you for coming on, man.
Thank you for coming. Yeah, you were a fantastic guest. I was there's a couple things I learned about you today. I did not know you were such a big spy movie fan. I didn't know you've watched all James Bond movies.
What?
And have them all. That's really interesting to me.
Quickly, who's your favorite Bond villain?
Oh God. Like we got Art Goldfinger, we got Scaramanga, Christopher Lee. That's one of my favorite of all times.
Nice. Sean Bean was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, Trevelyan and GoldenEye. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Sean Bean plays very well in the villain role.
I like the idea of the villain there in GoldenEye though, because it's like, I mean, there's that famous scene where he's having the conversation with James Bond. He's like, we're the exact same, just you justify your actions because you do what the Queen tells you to do, and I do the exact same thing as you, and yeah, I'm the bad guy or something like. It's that scene where they're in I want to say they're in like a trash yard or something like that, or a wrecking yard. It's fucking amazing, man. I don't know Bond as well as you, but it's definitely a standpoint for me. So I had to get last question.
No worries. Yes.
So Brian, where can people find you? Show your links here.
Where can people find me? Well, if you get out a map, if you go to Google Maps and hover over the city of Chicago.
Okay. Don't give them your address.
I'm not going to do that.
Your address.
If you can find me on Twitter at Brian_Gendo. You can find me on YouTube at GendoFM. And you can find me on Twitch as RLKDragon, all one word, RLKDragon.
Dragon. There you go. Great Twitch name. Great
If
name.
you want to go even further, I stream on Twitch every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I come out with a video on YouTube every Tuesday, Thursday, and double upload Sundays.
Hey Mark, where can people find you?
Where can you find me?
Yeah.
Twitter.com/Mark Kohler with 3 L's. And that's the podcast, everybody. Just kidding. Well, as always, Brian's links for Brian will all be in the description. Go check them all out. He's a fantastic content creator. And you can find us Twitter, 2 Man Brunch Party, YouTube, 2 Man Brunch Party, fucking BrunchPartyPodcast.podbean.com, twitch.tv/2 Man Brunch Party. You can search the Brunch Party Podcast, well, just Brunch Party Podcast on iTunes. Am I missing anything, Curtis?
No, but if you find us on iTunes, please, give us a rating, give us a review. That helps us get noticed on there. And I'll leave it off with #branding, Mark. I just realized that. We got some good branding. And also, don't forget, next Sunday, live version of this podcast, we're have a nice MLS kickoff live stream with, of course, Brian. You heard that earlier on the podcast. But want to make sure you remember. So next Sunday at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. Hail 3, save the day.
If you want to hear any more of these beautiful voices, please tune in this Sunday.
Boosh. Nailed it.
Oh, there you go, Brian.
Wrap it up.
That's where we're ending. Have a fantastic week, everybody, and we will see you very soon.
I love your faces.
Thanks for listening, everyone.